This is the unexpected news. Despite doctors saying she was in critical condition, Yandy Smith, the queen of hustle and the epitome of strength, is now fighting for her life in the intensive care unit. However, things take a strange turn when they suddenly say she is doing better. Fans are shocked and close friends are demanding answers, and there are rumors circulating throughout the love and hip-hop community that there is a cover-up. Could it be that someone is afraid of the truth coming out? Is there a major scandal behind those hospital doors? Most importantly, what are the doctors hiding? There are serious reports that Yandy Smith was taken to the intensive care unit under mysterious circumstances. The doctors initially stated that she was in critical condition, but now they are claiming that she is improving without providing any concrete explanation. What are they concealing? Fans are demanding answers since the way the situation is developing is quite strange. 1 minute, Yandy is out having a good time, and the next, she's barely conscious and being taken to critical care. And to make matters even more startling, other individuals have arrived at the hospital who have no business there. What's actually happening began just a few hours prior to the turmoil. In Atlanta, Yandy was surrounded by executives, influencers, and celebrities at a high-profile business event. She was in high spirits, according to witnesses. Around 1:30 a.m., everything appeared to be going as usual. Laughing, snapping photos, networking, etc. But then something shifted. A few others observed that Yandy was hanging onto her stomach as if she wasn't feeling well, and she was acting strangely. The energy around her changed, and she stopped talking as much and instead appeared distant and preoccupied. Suddenly, she fainted. People surged forward, screaming, "Call 911, call 911," as shouts reverberated throughout the venue and drinks spilled. As soon as the news broke online, social media erupted and security pushed people away in an attempt to clear the area surrounding her. Within minutes, paramedics came and were seen treating her on the ground. By the time they got her into the ambulance, she was barely conscious. No way Yandy was fine before what happened. Therefore, someone should start talking because it doesn't make sense to pray for her. However, why isn't someone expressing what's wrong? Things became suspicious when celebrities began sending mysterious messages with prayer emojis, but no one was providing any specifics. Why wasn't anyone revealing the truth about what was being concealed? 3:00 a.m. when Ems Harris received the call that Yandy had been officially transferred to the intensive care unit, he immediately dropped everything and hurried to the hospital like a man possessed. When he arrived, he appeared terrified, and hospital staff attempted to reassure him. The strangeness didn't end there. Gradually, more people began to arrive at the hospital, not just Yandy's closest friends and family members, but also some people who hadn't been in her life for years. The doctors were doing everything they could to help him, sir, but they weren't really answering his questions. When Kimela appeared, it wasn't very shocking. Kimbella and Yandy have experienced ups and downs, but they have been close for years, so it might seem that she would be there when Erica Mena arrived. But why was she there? Everyone knows that Erica and Yandy have never gotten along, so the fact that she of all people showed up in the middle of the night raised many eyebrows were raised, and it didn't stop there. A few industry insiders who hadn't seen Yandy in years also began to show up. Outside the hospital, reporters were assembling, fans were arriving, and paparazzi cameras were constantly flashing. At precisely 4:07 a.m., a stranger appeared. What do you mean that doesn't make sense? How could cameras have captured him pacing back and forth and arguing with whoever was on the other end of that call? A doctor whispered something to me, and his whole face changed from panic to furious in an instant. He stormed out of the hospital with the phone in hand, screaming, "What do you mean that doesn't make sense?" When he finally hung up, his face was utterly shaken. What did they tell him about the caller? And just when you thought things couldn't get any stranger, the hospital tightened security, barricaded off hallways, and stopped answering questions from nurses and doctors. Why, if Yandy was indeed doing better as they said, was everyone acting so secretive? Something wasn't right. As more information came to light, It became evident that this situation was much more serious than anyone had initially thought. Hours had passed since Yandy was taken to the intensive care unit, and still no one had provided a clear explanation of what had happened. The hospital staff had been evasive, stating that she was stable but under observation. But what did that even mean if she was really okay? Rumors started to circulate that this wasn't just a random medical emergency when people were whispering in the hallways, asking why security had suddenly tightened. And then Ems disappeared. One minute, he was outside arguing on the phone, pacing back and forth, looking furious, and the next moment he was gone, asking where he went and why he wasn't by his side. According to some reports, Yandy had. The problem is that too many people were showing up. At first, it was only family and close friends, but by 5 in the morning, more and more unexpected faces began to come. Others whispered that this was something far worse, something personal. Yes, you heard correctly. Rich dollars have arrived. Rich dollars. After years of absence from Yandy's circle, this man appeared out of the blue in the middle of the night as if he had an important hospital appointment, and he wasn't the only one behind him. Now, hold up. Chrissy Lamon, the same Chrissy who squared up against Yandy in some of the most intense and dramatic altercations in the history of love and hip-hop, the same lady who once said she would never again be in the same room as Yandy. Why was she there? There was a lot of tension in the waiting area. When Rich and Chrissy entered, Kimbella was sitting off to the side, obviously apprehensive. Erica was pacing and checking her phone, appearing agitated. For a long time, no one spoke, just long, icy looks that suggested they were mentally examining each other, getting ready for combat. And then suddenly Erica said, "What are you all doing here?" Chrissy rushed in when Rich calmly but firmly stated that he needed answers, but Erica wasn't buying it. "No, you don't get to play concerned now. Where were you before all this happened? You've been a ghost for years. Screaming won't get them anything, Erica. Quicker, so why don't you relax? If Yandy had known you were present, she would have laughed in your face." Camilla attempted to defuse the situation, but it was too late. Erica was already angry. "You all people want to talk about being chill." Chrissy's eyes rolled, but before she could turn around, the elevator doors opened, and guess who emerged? His face wasn't his usual one. Pale Rich moved forward and asked, "What's going on?" Messi gulped hard, as if he didn't even know how to put it into words, and then he stated, "They're lying to us." His eyes were crimson, and he appeared to have just seen a ghost. The room fell silent. Kimbella's eyes widened as he waited to find out who was lying about what, and then he wiped his face, looking straight up, tired and annoyed. Everyone was on edge at this time since the doctors and hospital were furious and weren't telling us the whole truth. Erica crossed her arms. "So what did they tell you? Because last we heard, she was stable," and she gave a bitter chuckle, "so they want us to believe that. However, they simply moved her to a different floor without telling me, and there was silence before Turmoil. When I questioned why, they replied it was a precaution, but when I asked what that meant, they sidestepped the topic." Kimbella got up and waited to see what they had done to her without telling you. Messis nodded. Despite everything, Chrissy was truly worried. Thus, it defies logic that they would move her without explaining why. Rich then stepped up, implying that they were hiding something. Now, let's face it, Rich isn't exactly the most reliable person in the world, but the way he said it as if he knew something that no one else did made everyone uneasy. I turned to him, but Rich hesitated, looking around the room as if he wasn't sure if he should say it at all. Then he did it, and it wasn't an accident, everyone froze. Rich leaned in and lowered his voice as if he didn't want certain people to be around. Yandy didn't just pass out. She was oak all night, so it doesn't sit well with me that she collapsed out of the blue. Kimbella's jaw fell wide. "What are you talking about? You think someone did this to her? That doesn't make sense, man." Mises shook his head. The real Rich cut him off. "What happened next will shock you because the truth is about to come out, and it's uglier than anyone imagined. The question is who had something to gain. And that's when the real paranoia started, because if this wasn't just a medical emergency, then someone in that room knew more than they were saying. The atmosphere in the waiting room was so tense that it felt like the bomb was going off. Rich took a big breath and locked eyes with Messi as he glared at him with his hands clenched. "What the hell are you trying to say, man? Just spit it out." "I'm saying somebody wanted Yandy out of the way, and I got a damn good idea." Who? The whole room froze. Erica was the first to lose it. "Oh my God, you're not going to sit here and pretend to be a detective." Rich wasn't backing down. "I don't need to be present to see what's in front of me. I haven't been around for years, and now you're making up theories." "Think again. Yandy has been making tremendous moves, and you all think that everyone is thrilled about that. You're claiming that this is planned, as if someone really tried to get Rich to nod, and that's when M lost it. Who would do that?" Bella swallowed hard. Rich held up his hands to her. The real bombshell came when Rich took a deep breath, his face dead serious, and then he finally spoke to Judy. "I don't have proof." Mice grabbed him by the collar, "and I don't give a damn about proof. Who did this in y'all?" Rich blinked. "My mother, you're out of your damn mind." But he didn't waver. There's no way she didn't know something. She's been talking nonstop about Yandy for months, and now suddenly she's in the intensive care unit for unknown reasons. You do the arithmetic, and Rich is shoved back. "Stop talking, guy. That's my mother. She may not always like Yandy, but she would never." Chrissy had her arms crossed because the last time I looked, she was ranting about how Yandy was destroying you and stealing her baby son. That woman perceives Yandy as a threat, and as humans tend to eliminate threats, VC shook his head, but his expression changed to one of turmoil. Since he knew in his heart that his mother had never truly welcomed Yandy and had always been resentful, often bringing up gossip and drama, he wondered if she would actually go that far before disappearing like clockwork. He took out M's phone when it rang, and when he saw Judy's name on the screen, his stomach fell. Everyone looked on as he paused, his thumb hovering over the answer button, then slowly answered Ma. Her voice came through the line shakily and low. "Mrs. Baby, we need to talk." The room fell silent, and he tightened his grip on the phone as he discussed what Judy had taken. Taking a deep breath, everyone's blood ran cold. "Even though I didn't intend for this to happen, it wasn't supposed to be this way. I simply wanted her to slow down and stop forcing you to pick between us. I never intended for her to be harmed. I promise on my life, sweetie, and I never wanted this to happen." M's jaw tightened. "What did you do, Ma?" "I had someone put something in Judy's drink to make her weak so she would stop crying for a while. But I swear, baby, I didn't know it would go this far or send her to the hospital." Then DC staggered back like he'd been punched in the gut, and the entire room exploded. It felt like the room was spinning, Ma. Erica's mouth fell open. "Oh my God!" Bella's hand shot straight to her mouth. "Do you hear yourself now? You drugged my wife." Chrissy shook her head. "I knew that woman was dubious, but this time it felt like he couldn't breathe. Judy was crying, and I didn't mean to offend him." He abruptly ended the call without saying anything more, and he turned to face the group, his eyes burning. "I promise you that she will pay for this." When a doctor finally entered the room, everyone turned to him, holding their breath, and the doctor cleared his throat, looking hesitant. Rich crossed his arms. "So what's the move? This isn't just family drama anymore. This is a crime." Now Mies nodded, "And she will be charged. I don't care if she's my mother." "Mr. Harris, we must discuss." "Men in Yandy's condition, DC has moved forward. Is she conscious and doing okay?" "She is stable, but there are issues," the doctor moaned. "What do you mean by complications?" M's tummy is twisted. When the doctor turned to face NES after surveying the area, everyone realized what he was going to say. "Awful, and you guys are the truth."